The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon wraps up Season 1 in an ambiguous conclusion, hinting at big decisions being made and a flurry of new stakes for the future. The Season 1 finale, Coming Home, picks up right where the penultimate episode leaves, with Norman Reedus' Daryl Dixon stranded in a gladiator ring up against a super-powered walker and Sister Isabel locked up with Laurent by her side. With the help of the Union, Daryl manages to escape Janet's compound and finally completes the nun's quest to deliver Laurent to the nest. Receiving a joyous reception at the island, Daryl is given the opportunity and resources to return home. The question is, does he? When Daryl, Laurent, Isabel, and Sister Sylvie reach the nest, the frantic scenes of action are replaced with deliberate and earned bonding moments. Interestingly, there is a hint of romance between Daryl and Isabel, especially as Daryl tends to her wound, recalling a scene in the first episode where the roles were reversed. Since then, they have grown alongside each other, grappling with their pasts and moving beyond the mistrust and secrecy that plagued their initial relationship. Isabel has somewhat resolved her more seemingly immoral traits shown in her backstory, and found a use for them when escaping Janet's compound when she pickpockets the keys from the guard and escapes with Laurent. In comparison, Daryl reminisces about his grandfather who died in France during the war, eventually finding his grave near the coast as he is leaving for America. It instigates thoughts about his childhood and how history tends to repeat itself. His grandfather was absent from his father's life, and thus his father neglected him. However, confronting his grandfather's grave coupled with Isabel's declaration that he died fighting for what he believed, Daryl seems torn between his personal motives and his more humanitarian ones. Maybe history was bound to repeat itself again, and Daryl will have to abandon his loved ones back home to help the new loved ones that need him now. Daryl's growing bond with Laurent is depicted similarly at the nest. There is a light-hearted scene where Daryl hands Laurent a nearly completed Rubik's Cube, once again echoing the first episode where Daryl hands it back to Laurent while gruffly muttering, "I'm no good at asterisks like this." Daryl's growth as a parental figure and in his patience is wholly encapsulated in this mere moment. The way that both relationships with Isabel and Laurent cycle back to the first episode gives their development a sense of resolution while also complicating Daryl's necessity to return home. His newfound family unit gives the episode title a whole new meaning. Perhaps he was finally coming home to his new family. Daryl's storyline in Season 1 ends with him standing by the coast, gazing out at the oncoming ship that will begin his journey to America, but he is pulled back by Laurent's sudden appearance at the beach. Though it is still unclear if Daryl will embark on the boat, his newfound family and stakes in their fight suggests Daryl will stay in France. Quinn is the biggest character that doesn't make it out of Season 1 alive. After both Daryl and Quinn escape the arena while chained together, it is revealed that Quinn had been bitten on the back. With no hope of surviving that bite, Quinn reluctantly decides to sacrifice his life only if Daryl tells Isabel about it. Right up until the end, Quinn's motives remain selfish, which begs the question, did he actually earn redemption? We've seen doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, but Quinn gives us doing the right thing for the somewhat wrong reasons. Whether he was redeemed or not, by allowing Daryl to chop off his hand and subsequently holding off Janet's soldiers until Daryl reached safety, Quinn is the reason Daryl escaped from the compound alive. When we first witness Isabel trying to recruit Daryl as an escort for their plan to deliver Laurent to the nest, she reveals a drawing done by Laurent of a man washed ashore in France. Although it would be strange to see The Walking Dead include an otherworldly element into the universe, considering this is a spin-off, so unlike the original show, it wouldn't be a complete shock. Fortunately, the spin-off dismisses our fears in the finale as Isabel reveals that she had asked Laurent to draw it after Daryl arrived to convince him to join the cause. So if not foresight, what are Laurent's powers? His talents seem to lie in his innate ability to connect with people, providing him with a solid foundation to become a powerful leader. The closing scene of the finale absolutely left all Daryl Carroll fans screaming. Melissa McBride expands her voice cameo in a previous episode with an epic physical appearance as she reprises the role of Carol in Search Daryl, her best friend. Carol has already found her way to Maine and is trailing a man who is riding Daryl's staple motorcycle. In a deliciously brutal Carol takedown scene, she discovers the whereabouts of the camp Daryl was kidnapped from, hops on Daryl's bike, and drives off, determined. Although much information about the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol is being kept under wraps, we can all look forward to a very teary and heartwarming reunion of the show's best friends.